Dudes and dudettes, how are you guys? This is Chazzy and welcome back to The Mixer, the segment on this channel where I give you guys all different kinds of info regarding biology, science, mathematics. No, not mathematics. I hate math. I really do. I've never done a single video about it and I don't think I ever will. But guys, a whole bunch of different stuff. I talk about sports too, and different athletes and whatnot. Speaking of sports and athletes, if the title and thumbnail didn't already give it away, today I'm going to be talking about a specific athlete in a specific sport. And I am very excited to do this video, but also kind of nervous because I really like this topic, and I am very, very, very anxious to get into it, but there is so much information, and I just don't want to butcher anything, so I'm going to try my best to give you guys the most accurate information possible, okay? Oh God, come on, don't stutter, relax, okay? Oh boy. So anyway, guys, today I'm going to be doing sort of like a little biography of sorts, talking about Michael Jeffrey Jordan, okay? Unanimously considered to be the greatest basketball player of all time and possibly one of the greatest athletes of all time as well, Now, he played for 15 seasons in the NBA across the 80s and 90s, and the thing with Jordan is that he really was ahead of his time in the sport, man, This guy played basketball in an era where it was very, very brutal, because in the 80s and 90s, basketball was very different from what we see today, like it's kind of like try to take basketball and mix it with just a little teensy weensy bit of MMA. The guys would brawl and fight and the refs wouldn't call any fouls. It was a very, very brutal time period for this sport, And Jordan not only played well, but he went above and beyond and rose above everybody else in the league, Now, the thing was that Jordan's career, well, not really career, but his playing story began when he went to North Carolina College in 1981. He played basketball there until 1984, which was when he was drafted by the Chicago Bulls. He was actually the 3rd overall pick in the first round, so they really, really got their money's worth with Jordan, because dude was freaking awesome. Now, his playing career in the Bulls was actually initially from 1984 to 1993, which is when he retired for the first time due to the death of his father, so he didn't play the 94 season. He actually went to pursue minor league baseball for a while, But then, of course, he eventually came back and he played again in the Bulls from 95 to 1998, And that's when he retired for the second time. And then years later, he would come out of retirement again in 2001 playing for the Washington Wizards. Then he retired again in 2003, and that was actually the final time, Playing for the Wizards sort of kind of tarnished just a little bit his legacy there. He was still Jordan, but not the same, athlete that we had come to love in the Bulls, With the Chicago Bulls, he was utterly unstoppable, and he broke so many NBA records, and the most impressive thing that he did was winning a three-peat twice, so he won a total of 6 NBA championships with the Chicago Bulls, and all 6 of those, he won the first 3 consecutively. Then after he retired, they didn't win anything, but then when he came back, they won the next 3 again consecutively. Now, it's hard enough to have just, one three-peat, man. It's hard to win a championship 2 years in a row, let alone 3 and let alone twice, So that's just one of the many accomplishments that Jordan achieved in his career, which I'm going to be talking about today. I am very excited. There is so much information here, it's going to be freaking crazy. So let's just try to get into it, as quickly and as detailed as possible. Before that, let's take a look at His Royal Airness doing his thing.
Semi-final round. Here's Michael Jordan of the Chicago Bulls.
MJ was the king before LeBron James was even born, homie. What's up? Okay, so anyway, the thing with Jordan is that he was a very, very, very dominant player on offense. He would just aggressively run to the basket and do layups in traffic. He would actually draw fouls very frequently. He was not afraid, man. If you were playing Jordan back in the height of his career, like we're talking like the late 80s, early 90s, he was not afraid of you. He was not afraid of anybody. He would just come at you like a freight train and dunk on you, you know, with no remorse at all. He wouldn't care, you know. This guy was incredibly driven, and he actually garnered some criticism for being sort of like a solo player, not caring too much about teammates, you know, because he knew very well that he was above and beyond everybody else in the league, you know. So now you could argue that it got to his head a lot, you know, but then again, in later years, he would try to deter to his teammates a lot, you know, try to pass the ball more. He did have a pretty high amount of percentage in terms of assisting, you know. So it's not, but the thing with Jordan is that he was very driven. He was very adamant about winning. He wanted to win. And if you guys watch the Last Dance documentary on Netflix, you know, you're going to know that he actually pushed his teammates more because he wanted them to win just as much as he himself did, you know. So he was just a monster in all aspects there. And the thing is that his only Achilles heel, his only major crux was three-point shooting, you know, because he actually wasn't really too good in terms of that, you know. There actually is some there are some statistics here, you know, because he would later, he finished his career with pretty much 32% free throw shooting, you know, the success rate. And then actually, it would sort of range from 35 to 43% in later seasons. You know, he wasn't too good. And we're talking about the 80s where players weren't really accustomed to shooting from the three-point line unless they were Larry Bird, you know. But it was actually very strange because, hey, even Giants have their flaws, you know. So he actually, he attempted 233 pointers from, between 1989 and then 97, you know. So his effective field goal percentage was 50%. So the thing with Jordan is that, oh yeah, and also he had 6 seasons with at least 50% shooting, 5 of which were consecutive. But the thing with Jordan is that he was very, very hard to stop within the paint. So if he got the ball from outside of the arc and tried to shoot, okay, there was a good chance that he wouldn't make it. But inside the paint, man, with that fadeaway jump shot, you know, the way he would post up his opponents, you know, and he would jump so high, and it was almost like he stopped in midair for a few seconds. It's like time stood still. He would aim and then shoot, you know, known as his fadeaway jump shot, where he would jump and sometimes spin and fade away from the basket, like slightly levitate away and shoot, you know. And he would very, very rarely miss. And this was just a nightmare for defenders, man, because he would shoot over you all day. He would very, very, very rarely miss from inside of the paint, you know. And I'm going to give you guys some statistics here, you know, some general career statistics that he garnered. So in total in his career, he put up 32,292 points in total, which would come off to about 30.1 points per game, which is an NBA record, by the way. We're going to get to the records later. And he also got a total of 6,672 rebounds, okay, so that averages out to 6.2 rebounds per game. And also he gave 5,633 assists, which would be roughly around 5.3 assists per game. So he wasn't it's not like he was a freaking, you know, bastard who didn't care about his teammates. You know, he actually did try to pass the ball, but I think it would be a little bit later in his career. You know, it's not like he, you know, I'm trying to see if maybe I can get a few more stats here, but it doesn't seem like this little cheat sheet wants to freaking, okay, maybe I can find a few more tidbits of info here regarding stats, and holy freaking crap, that's too confusing. That is way too much. Okay, oh my god, guys, I am scared with how much information this website has, like, because I'm half using a cheat sheet that I made and half looking through websites, but this one has way too much stuff, man. What is this? Oh my freaking god. Nope, not gonna do that. Let's take a look at another clip here, and I'm gonna continue because I'm not gonna read all of that. That is just some BS right there. MJ.
But he finally got his dunk on Mount Matumbo.
No, rebound Cartwright, off to Jordan. Michael Jordan, power jam in Barkley's face.
Pretty impressive, huh? Pretty darn impressive. I don't even know what I inserted, but it was awesome. I didn't edit it yet, so whatever I see in post-production, you know, it's but whatever it is, it was great, okay? So anyway, guys, let's talk a little bit more about the player profile, you know. Now, Jordan was very, very good on offense, but he was maybe not equally as good, but just as, you know, good on defense. You know, he was actually, I do believe that at one point he was called the greatest defender superstar in the league at the time, you know, because Okay, we're not talking like LeBron James chase down block levels of insanity or Shaquille O'Neal giant freaking wardrobe with limbs coming at you and blocking, you know, but he was still very good. And the thing is that it's not even so much the blocking as much as it was him just boxing out his opposing players, you know. It was really hard for you to score over Jordan, man. You would have to really pull some voodoo level you'd have to really pull some voodoo levels of, you know, I don't know, man. You would have to do something completely outside of the box for you to get rid of Jordan, you know. He was very, very, very tough. It was really hard. And actually, at one point, he pretty much commanded the Chicago Bulls, you know. It's like he pretty much said, I don't want this player here. I actually want this player there, you know. And they actually started to build a dynasty around him, you know. And players who weren't considered tough enough to play with him would actually be completely excluded from the team, you know. Now, the Chicago Bulls dynasty in the 90s is the one that really, truly became, you know, it's the one, those were the players that came together to make a team that would, you know, lead basketball to become such a popular thing in the 90s, you know, and would make Michael Jordan become a global cultural icon, you know, because they, well, for starters, you know, they did win the 3P twice, you know, and Jordan obviously made a huge difference. But of course, you know, we had Scottie Pippen playing and also Dennis Rodman. There was Steve Kerr at one point, you know, that like the other players did really make a difference. Even I think it was Tony Kudrow, that European player who they actually played really, really harshly against in the, I think it was the Olympics. So because Jerry Krause, the manager, you know, complimented him, something of the sort, you know. I do believe that was his name, Tony Kukoc. I can never pronounce that guy's name. But anyways, so the thing is that Jordan is like, I mean, it's really weird because even in practice, you know, it was really hard to play with Jordan, man, because he would really get on you. He would really grind on you, you know. And if you were playing against him and actually he not only found but exploited your weak point, your weak spot as an athlete, you would be screwed, you know, because he would play on that. If he noticed that you had any kind of small flaw, he would use that against you until you freaking fell to the ground crying, you know. It was really hard to play against him and just as hard to play with him, you know. But of course, I pity the fool who went against Jordan, because he was actually the kind of player who would make up random reasons and excuses to play even better than he already did, you know. So sometimes he would even fabricate something out of thin air just to give himself a reason to play more. Sometimes his coach would, I don't know, say that an opposing player is good in something, you know, or somebody would say that in one certain game he messed up with a free throw, you know, or this and that. Whatever small tiny thing against him, he would take and feed on that and use it to explode in the next game, you know. And he actually had a total of 8,772 free throw attempts, which is the 11th highest in NBA history, you know. So he was pretty okay, you know, in free throws. And like I said before, in the paint, it was really hard to guard against him. And there's actually this thing here about his legacy, which is actually, I don't know, it's weird, you know. Even Larry Bird at one point said after a game that he played that it wasn't even Michael Jordan, it was God disguised as Michael Jordan, you know. And also he garnered the nickname Black Jesus at one point. Speaking of nicknames, Jordan emerged as a league star in the early 80s in the Chicago Bulls, but he really garnered a lot of attention in the slam dunk contest, you know, because he would show how high and how far he could jump to dunk the ball, sometimes from the free throw line, you know. Right from the beginning of the free throw line, he would jump and go straight into the hoop, you know. And that earned him nicknames like Air Jordan and his Airness, you know, or his Royal Airness as well. So Jordan was pretty much unstoppable in the paint, man, you know. And it's actually kind of weird because calling him his Airness and Air Jordan does make a lot of sense, because if you stop and look at Jordan jumping some of the plays that he did, it really did seem like he was flying through the air. It seemed like nothing could stop this guy, you know. And obviously he was a big part of how the Bulls won all of their titles, you know, but as a player himself, it was really truly frightening. Just if you stop and take just Jordan individually, it is frightening how well he played, man, you know. And it's crazy because he actually, I think that he never in his career lost more than 4 games in a row, you know. It's really, really frightening. And out of all of the 15 seasons that he played in the NBA, he played all 82 games of the regular season 9 times, man. 9 times, 82 games in a row without stopping, you know. So not losing more than 4 is actually a tremendous feat when you you take that into consideration, you know. And he has, of course, a lot of other records as well. In the next portion here, I'm going to read for you guys a few of his titles, you know, and maybe already talk about some of his records and also a little bit more of his legacy. But before that, you already know the drill. Let's take a look at him again doing his thing.
When you mention the teams Jordan went through, those Knicks especially, I mean, Mason, Oakley, Ewing, Jordan's going to the hole against them.
Oh, what a move by Jordan! It counts.
I will never get tired of watching Jordan do his thing, man. It's all good, man. I'm gonna love editing this video, dude. Oh boy, it's gonna be fun to find those clips. But anyway, remember earlier how I talked about his points, rebounds, and assists? Okay, well, two more stats here that I forgot. I was scrambling to find it earlier, but I didn't, so now I'm going to say it here, okay? Michael Jordan finished his career with also 2,514 steals, you know, which is actually the third highest in NBA history. Pretty damn impressive there. It was hard to keep the ball away from him, and also 893 blocks. Okay, so there, I have come full circle in this video now. I wanted to say everything and I did. No more of that, you know. And now let's get into his titles, you know, as an individual and also with the Chicago Bulls, you know. Like I said before, he is a 6-time NBA champion, you know, and he won a three-peat twice. So he actually won the championships in 1991, 92, and 93 consecutively, you know. And also when he retired and came back in 1995, he won 3 championships again in 1996, 97, and 98. So 2 different three-peats, you know. The reason that he retired is because his father was unfortunately killed while driving on the road. He pulled over to take a nap, and then 2 lowlifes came and they shot him and stole his vehicle and just dumped his body there on the side of the road. So that really messed with Jordan a lot. He had a brief stint in minor league baseball because it was his father's wish for him to play baseball at one point, so that's what he did. And yeah, but it didn't last too long. He did eventually come back, you know. According to Space Jam, you know, he played basketball in space between that, you know, but it's all good. So then, yes, and by the way, in those NBA championships, you know, he was a 6-time NBA Finals MVP. So in each one of those championships, he was elected the Finals MVP. He was also a 5-time NBA Most Valuable Player, okay, or NBA MVP as well, mostly throughout the 90s. He was a 14-time NBA All-Star, okay, within which he was a 3-time NBA All-Star game MVP, right? And then he was also a 10th, damn it, how do I express this? Okay, a 10-time All-NBA first team, so he made the NBA first team 10 times, you know. 9-time NBA All-Defensive first team, he made that team 9 different times. And he was also a 10-time NBA scoring champion, which in itself is already a record within the NBA, right? And he was also a 3-time NBA steals leader, okay? A, oh boy, 2-time NBA Slam Dunk Contest champion. Good Lord, it's a lot of stuff, man. 3-time AP Athlete of the Year, you know, also in the three-peat, 91, 92, 93, okay? He was a, he was a Sports Illustrated Sports Person of the Year in 91, and he was also a, this is getting complicated. He was also, he made the All-NBA second team once in 85, okay? And then he was also the NBA Defensive Player of the Year in 88. He was, of course, the NBA Rookie of the Year in 85. Nobody was surprised with that, you know? And also the NBA All-Rookie first team in the same year. And his number 23 is retired by the Chicago Bulls and for some reason the Miami Heat. I don't know why the Heat retired his 23. That makes no sense, but okay. And there are a few other things here, guys, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of what I think is the most important ones. You know, oh, and also his number 23 is also retired by the North Carolina Tar Heels, the team that he played for in college. And he was also a 2-time USA Basketball Male Athlete of the Year. You know, a 2-time consensus first team All-American. I don't even know what half of this stuff is, dude. And also a 2-time first team All-ACC. That's probably not even important. Now, before I wrap this up, guys, I'm going to read for you the 15 records that will never be broken, you know, that he established while playing. And some of them I already talked about, you know. I'm going to list them off in order here, you know, with one that I already mentioned, which was his 10-time NBA scoring championship awards, you know. So he scored the most amount of points, you know, individually in an NBA championship 10 different times, and I think it's really hard for anybody to come close to that. I think I think James Harden was the one who at one point he was the best scorer in the league, and not even he came close, you know. It's really freaking hard. And also he is the only one with 2 three-peats, you know. know, the only player in history who won 3 different championships, you know, in a row twice. It's really hard to win just 2 in a row, man, you know, because the Chicago Bulls team actually went 6-0 in the finals with 2 3-peats. That means that it's a best of 7 series games and they won 6 out of nothing. So it's really hard to come close to that. But anyway, so then the most points per game in NBA history, remember that I mentioned before, you know, he averaged 30.1 points per game in his career, and nobody even came close, you know. Actually, yes, Will Chamberlain came close with exactly 30 points per game, and then also Elgin Baylor with 27.3 per game, but honestly, dude, I don't think even Wood could hold a candle to Jordan, you know. But anyway, so here we go. The most points per game in finals series, you know, which was in the 1983 NBA Finals, and he averaged 41 points per game in those finals, you know. And also during games 3 and 4 and 5, he dropped 44, 55, and 41 points respectively, and he actually knocked out the Phoenix Suns from the series, you know. So goodbye, Charles Barkley. All right, and it really did stand the test of time, you know. And he actually played 45.7 minutes per game and scored 41 points a game, you know, with 8.5 rebounds and 6.3 assists. So it was pretty damn tough. And a few achievements at 35 years of age, and he was 98, you know. So he put up 28.7 points per game with 5.8 rebounds per game, 3.5 assists per game, 1.7 steals per game. He was an NBA champion, you know, an MVP, Finals MVP, All-Star Game MVP, All-NBA first team, and All-Defensive first team. Pretty much just something. It's a regular day for Jordan, but he was 35, so that's pretty damn impressive, you know. Nobody at that age even came close, you know. He was far away the best player, you know, like when he was 35, man, where already a few players might be considering retiring. So anyway, second three-peat, we already know that, you know, and he also, in his second three-peat, you know, so he won 3 NBA titles. He was elected a 2-time Finals MVP, 2-time MVP, 3-time Finals MVP, a 3-time scoring title champion, and a 3-time All-Defensive first team. And he did all of this while missing 0 freaking games. So he played all games, you know, during that three-peat, all 82 games of the regular season all the way through, you know. So it's really, really hard, you know, and all 3 years, by the way. So yeah, I'm pretty sure nobody will ever come close to breaking this record. He is the only NBA player in history to make more money than the entire team combined, you know. Because of his endorsements deal, he was actually making in 1988 $33.1 million in salary, which is more than the entire team combined. So just to give you a little bit of an idea how much cash was rolling in, you know. But he was, again, he was allowed more money per the salary cap because of his endorsements deal, so that you know. Anyway, so he also won the MVP, the Defensive Player of the Year, and the scoring title in just 1 season. Nobody has ever even come close, you know, that kind of goes without saying. And they were, LeBron James and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar were pretty sensational, but I don't even think they could ever average this, you know. And also in the playoffs, Jordan scored 269 opponents from 270, you know. That's where actually the bulk of his records come from, the NBA playoffs. So yeah, pretty damn hard to guard this guy, you know. And also he has the most points per game in the NBA playoffs, you know, in history of the playoffs. So that's, I think we've already mentioned that before. He scored 33.4 points per game on average in the playoffs, and nobody came close, you know. But ranking him, just to give you an idea, in second place we have Allen Iverson with 29.7 points per game, so it's kind of like a landslide. And then Jerry West with 29.1. So yeah, it doesn't even come close. I'm sorry to say, it doesn't even come close, okay? And so here we go, guys. The most MVPs and Finals MVPs combined, you know, as a player individually, you know. So he has a record of 11 MVPs and Finals MVP together, you know. And Kareem has 1 more MVP to his name than Jordan, but of course, Jordan has 3 times more as many Finals MVPs, so that's what puts him ahead. So here we go. And in total, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar comes in with 8, then LeBron James with 7. So yeah, and he has the most trophies in NBA history, you know, because he has, if you count everything that he's done in his career and not just NBA, you know, he actually has 22 different trophies, you know. And Bill Russell has 17, but then again, Russell had 11 NBA titles, so that's pretty freaking crazy, you know. And Abdul-Jabbar has 15 trophies, so Jordan is still miles above everybody else, dude. It's really freaking hard. But anyway, so here we go. The highest career per, you know, 27.9. So I believe that this is the highest amount of per points that he would have in career or any other stats, you know. So yeah, his overall measure, you know, of anything per game was 27.9. So yes, and LeBron James comes out a second with 27.5. Maybe, just maybe, he will surpass him, but nah. And also, again, as I said before, he is the only player to go 6-0 in the NBA Finals, you know, unbeaten as leader of the team. So it's actually really freaking scary how this works, you know, because he won, the Bulls won 6 games out of 7 to take the title, you know, so there wasn't even any competition there, man. I don't think anybody has ever even come close. LeBron in 2016 led the Cavaliers back from a 3-1 deficit against the Warriors, but even that wasn't as impressive as this in my opinion, you know, so it's all good. So yes, and we did see a few other players winning some records, you know, like Kobe, who went 5-2 in the finals, or Tim Duncan, who went 5-1, but it's just not the same. It's not the same. Jordan is completely undefeated, and those were 15 NBA records that Jordan broke. Before I finish, because this video is getting too long already, let's take a look at one final clip.
The Chicago Bulls were an unstoppable force during the 1995-96 campaign,
when they terrorized the playoffs.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Flight 23.
it was a wrap for everyone in the league.
It's hard, guys. It's hard. It's really hard to put any player above Jordan in any sense of the word, you know, above, you know. It's really tough. I mean, not only the greatest player of all time, but, you know, he pretty much fundamentally changed the shooting guard and small forward position, you know, with the way he played. And he was actually also a very strong clutch performer, you know. So I do believe that 25 games out of his career with the Chicago Bulls, he decided in the last 30 seconds with free throws or field goals, you know. He was known for trash talking a lot, you know. It was really hard to play against him, like I said before, because he would trash talk relentlessly, you know, and really get in your face and let you know that he was better and you sucked. That's how Jordan was. That was his work ethic, you know, and it just made him incredible, you know. He was just a killer. In the Darwinism definition of the word, he was just incredible, man. It's really hard to put anybody above Jordan. When he came back to play in the Washington Wizards, you know, he was actually the owner. I believe he became some like a stakeholder, but then he decided to come back and play, you know. It's really weird. But that's just Jordan, you know, and also he eventually went on to become, let me read for you guys here. He went on to become, he is an eccentric businessman, you know. He actually now is the part owner and head of the Charlotte Hornets, you know, the basketball team. He became it in 2006, and he also bought a controlling interest in 2010. And in 2016, he became the first billionaire player in NBA history. And as of this year, his net worth is estimated to be about $2.1 billion, you know. So yes, a player who truly changed the face of the game, you know. And again, I recommend you guys to watch The Last Dance documentary on Netflix. I will review it on my channel soon, you know, but just go watch it if you haven't. Even if you're not a basketball fan, believe me, you're definitely gonna like it, you know. It's always good to know more about his career accomplishments, you know. And like I said, it's really hard. I do believe at one point in his career, I think I mentioned this earlier, that he never lost more than 4 games in a row. I think it was less than that. I think he actually never lost 2 or more than 2 games in a row, or more than 3, you know. The 4 games thing, it's because he never, during some of the seasons, he didn't miss more than 4 games in a row. So that's what I was actually talking about. Like I said, guys, it's a lot of information, and I managed to cram this, you know, in about a little bit over half an hour. This is not the first time doing this video, you know. I did try a few years ago, back when I was still getting into basketball. Since then, I have gotten a little bit more knowledge about it, you know. So this is officially a remake. I'm even wearing the same shirt. I'm actually wearing the same shirt that I was wearing in my last vlog talking about Space Jam, reviewing it, you know. So same shirt, but obviously different day that I'm recording, and hopefully this one comes out okay, man. Michael freaking Jordan. I feel kind of bad for his sons, man, because they play basketball too. Imagine what they have to live up to, you know. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up here. This video got a little bit longer, but hopefully it's gonna be it's going to entertain you guys. You're going to enjoy it, and if you did, please go ahead and give it a like, and also subscribe to my channel, because I release videos every single day. And while you're at it, you might as well hit the notification bell too, to know exactly what time I upload, eh? And that's it, guys. This wraps up my video talking about the single greatest NBA player in history. There is no list in the world talking about the best players and Jordan not being at the top. So if you don't put him at the top, then I'm sorry, you don't know basketball, you know. I did a top 10 list about that a very long time ago, you know. I'm even gonna leave it here if you guys want to watch it, but it's pretty old. But he was obviously, spoiler alert, he was at the top of the list. Okay, and that's it for now, guys. Oh boy, I really hope this video comes out okay, because I've been sitting on this idea for a few weeks now. So here, that's it. This is Chazzy signing out for now, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Roll the outro screen.